Welcome to this new Flight Simulator update movie. In this movie we're gonna look at Turin. The city has received a photogrammetry update as part of World Update number 9 already, and it also received some point of interest. The good thing is that I'm using the beta hotfix for the Xbox, so I finally can play on the Xbox using the, I would say, high resolutions. So we're flying above Turin already, right? So you can see it. The city it looks really nice. Also received several points of interest. One of them is the Regia di Veneria, and there are a few other ones. Not as much as in the other cities. I think in total 3 or 4. So let's go inside the aircraft and now let's decrease our altitude, right? Because that's what we want. So here we go. Gonna reduce the speed a bit. And in the meantime, we're gonna look from following this nice city. Let's see autopilot switching off. There are a few airports pretty close to the city itself, right? So you can always, I would say, depart from an airport close to the city and have a look at it. I decided to go airborne and then I would say create a video. There's another airport, right? So it are all, let's say, a little bit smaller airports as far as I could see, which are close to the city. Another hotfix which Asobo has developed or deployed on the server side was decreasing the, I would say, or adjusting the number of trees because there was too much trees or it was too dense. So they did that, so also cool to see. So in the meantime, let's keep an eye on the altitude. We can push the aircraft a little bit further down. And then enjoy the nice view, right? So here's a soccer stadium. That's also one of the points of interest. There's no flag above it, but it's from the world map. I've seen it. It's one of the, I would say, one of the points of interest. So let's have a look at it a little bit closer when we decreased. Although there we also have a soccer stadium, so it could be that one also. And right in front of us, there's another point of interest. As you can see, the level of detail, I would say, from the air and from pretty high, looks really nice. So really wondering how it looks like if we come a little bit closer. So you can see that the airplane drops. It also drops speed massively. So we need to keep an eye on the cockpit itself, because we don't want to go too steep downwards. As you can see, right on the map over here, we've got 2 airports, at least 1, 2, and here's a bigger one, as it looks like. So that's interesting to see. So you can always land wherever you want, pretty close to the city. So we want to go to at least 2,000 or 2,500 feet. Now at 8,000. Some stuttering happening. Fingers crossed that this hotfix really fixes the issue, right? Because this is already the second version of the hotfix, because there were still some issues. So let's see if this one works better. Also a large tower there in the right corner, right? So we will have a close look at it. Watch out that we're not overstretching the aircraft, right? Because we're already on the yellow zone. So let's decrease the descending angle a bit. Passing 6,000. So in the meantime, we're gonna have a look at the nice city. Still a lot of green, a lot of rivers, a lot of water. So that's pretty nice to see. So one of the options you can do is, I would say, follow the river and then see where you end up. Based on the map, you can see on the Garmin G1000 NXI, you can see a lot of rivers. So probably pretty cool idea to follow those rivers and seeing which cities you will end up. If you look over there, right, these are the mountains, which are, I would say, pretty close to the city and are, I would say, dividing or are part of the border between Italy and Austria and Switzerland. So we're decreasing altitude, coming close to 4,000. Photogrammetry content looks cool. So let's go outside the aircraft again. First push the aircraft a little bit down. So here we are again on the outside of the aircraft. You can see a lot of detail, right? You can see the photogrammetry content, which I would say looks really nice. Also the soccer stadium, a lot of details. There's no flag above it, so there's no point of interest. So this is not one of the point of interest, right? Because if it was a point of interest, it would have been seen clear. Over there, I would say, right in front of us, we can see that sometimes the scenery builds up a bit. So it's not always, I would say, fully detected or fully loaded. Over there we can see, I would say, a large tower. So let's first go to the right side and then make a turn and then fly back. You can see that the scenery is loading a little bit weird, right? Especially in this part, you can see that the roof from that building continuously changes. From dark to light gray. So we're passing the 3,000 feet. So what do we have here? I think these are the, I would say, surroundings of the city, right? So this looks like a factory or something. Or it's a special building, and probably Asobo decided to make it like this because of a very good reason. So here we go. It looks like some kind of factory or something. Not sure what it is. It's pretty close to the railroad, right? Because you can see a large railroad terrain here. So probably this is used for the industry to unload and load cargo trains. I can't count the number of tracks, but I do expect it are more than 20, at least. Also some trains parked. So let's continue turning back to the city itself. Let's go over there to see what we see over there. So you can see that the buildings are really nicely detailed, right? So you can really see that the photogrammetry update has done its work. Some people might say, okay, hey, but there's still a lot of work to do. Yeah, probably, of course. But hey, it looks already really nice. So let's try to avoid that we're going too low. So let's increase the speed a bit. And then continue flying. A lot of sun panels. Here we've got another, looks like a rail track with a tunnel. And then here's some more, I would say, large, it's like large halls where things are being developed. Now we're going far too slow, so I really need to push a little bit harder to go airborne because we're at 1400 feet, which is a little bit low. Some kind of plant over here. let's climb a bit. Because we want to have a look at these other buildings, right? Because we now visited, like, it was pretty like the industry part of the city. So let's see what they added to the rest of the city itself. I think we've got some railroad tracks again here. It's the highway. Looks like railroad track, so a lot of trains, right? So also would be a cool scenario to follow the rail track and see where you end up with. Then here's our really high building. That's one of them. And there's not a lot of high other buildings in the city, and I would say a pretty futuristic building below us. And then we have the river, which we discussed earlier on, right? So then on the left end there are some bigger tracks also, some bigger towers, bigger buildings. So I'm controlling the Flight Simulator with an Xbox controller, right? So that's why it's sometimes harder to, let's say, adjust the power. But it works. You need to be very careful increasing power and decreasing power. Right in front of us we've got the Mall Antonoliana, if I'm saying it correctly. And then below us the railroad tracks, so probably this one is the central station of the city, right where we're flying over. Those points of interest have been handmade, right? So those are the buildings which have the, let's say, most detail. The rest of the, let's say, buildings is simply photogrammetry content. So probably we'll have a lot of, or have less details compared to, I would say, these nice point of interest, which you just see one of these point of interest below us. The city is pretty large, as you can see, right? You can, wherever you look, you can see city, and you can also see, of course, the airports surrounding the city. So with this, we end this video, right, because we could fly for hours and hours over this city, because it looks like it's, I would say, really nicely modeled, especially the point of interest. Also the photogrammetry content isn't, I would say, disappointing me, to be honest. You can see that the city itself lays pretty close to the mountains, so have a look at it yourself. Here ends this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.